So yeah, look, I suppose we started to talk a little bit about what the Infinite Way is about and what it is to experience living that. You said something actually just before about following your heart's a bit woo woo. When people say, oh, you just got to follow your heart. As you said that, I remember one of the significant things, years ago on my journey is I used to think about following my heart, but I would maybe go do something that I love, especially in doing this work. I found something for the first time in my life that I really enjoyed. It was the first time I didn't feel like I was working.
Let me ask you a question though, because we're talking about following your heart and doing what you love. I mean, if you're not doing what you love, then what are you doing?
That's a good question.
Do you know?
Well, I can relate back to my experience.
Yeah, good. Please let me know. Just getting a bit closer for my Instagram.
But I know when I wasn't following my heart, and it was all about surviving. To me, it wasn't. It was.
Your decisions are based about doing things in order to survive.
I was completely financially driven. Because I was worried about running out of money.
Yeah.
So although I enjoyed it and I was good at it.
Yeah.
I was a full-on slave to it. And it didn't matter how much money I made.
Yeah.
And that took me a while to work out that one. What
do you mean it didn't matter how much money you made?
Well, I thought...
Surely if you're making money... we're swapping roles
I know.
Surely if you're making more money, life's going to be better or easier.
Well, that's what I thought.
I remember when I first started, I was... I failed out of high school. We'll come back to that in a second. I failed out of high school. I never went to university, never got any degrees. And then I decided to, go become an entrepreneur because, anyone can be an entrepreneur. You just got to have the right idea. You have to have the grit, the will, and take some risks, right? So, and I was willing to do that. So I went out there to make money. And I remember my mum said to me, Mia, money's not going to make you more happier. And I was like, well, I reckon it'll make things easier. And I'm just done with having this lifestyle. It's just so difficult. I couldn't make ends meet. I didn't have any money. I wanted to go on a date. I couldn't even take my date out. So, but yeah, just it's interesting. The thing is, I had to go and learn that or experience that for myself because we all know money's not going to make us happy. Right?
Well, hang on, but do you really know that?
That's the thing, right? You read about it. People have told you, wise people, money is not going to make you happy. People with money have told you, right? People without money have told you, right? You hear it and you kind of go, yeah, I know that's true. Just like you hear, you got to do what you love or you got to follow your heart.
Yeah.
You know that's true, but why can't you?
Yeah.
Right? So for me, it's like I had to go experience for the next 7 years building businesses, being on the verge of bankruptcy to accomplishing success in my businesses, to then realize, hang on, it didn't make me happy.
I'm still not free.
And why here's the thing. I asked, because as I'm saying it, I'm asking myself, why didn't it make me happy? Because it never felt like I'd arrived. It felt like I needed to chase the next big carrot. And if I stopped chasing it, I always like to call it like when you're riding a donkey. How do you control a donkey? How do you ride a donkey? I mean, I don't really know. I've never ridden a donkey, but from what I understand, you dangle a carrot in front of it, and the donkey chases the carrot. So that's what we did. That's what I did. Right? I'm always chasing this carrot, and then when I realized, you know what? I'm never going to get this carrot. I'm going to stop chasing this carrot. It starts hitting me with a stick. What starts hitting me with a stick? Life, society, but you're going to run out of money. But how are you going to pay that? You're going to fall on your ass. What will people think of you? You're going to be a failure. No one's going to love you. Oh, I better keep going and I better keep pretending I'm this person so people would love me. I better keep chasing this carrot. Otherwise,
And that's when I craved all the things that I thought would help me make more money and help me be better and get past that. So yeah, I totally relate to that. And I think you're right. You got to experience it. There's even a famous speech by Jim Carrey, and I think he's talking to his alumni, and he says, "I wish that you could have everything that you think you want to realize it's not what you really want."
What? Say that again. That is a beautiful statement.
Jim Carrey. He's up on it. It's a famous YouTube thing. You look it up, and he's addressing his alumni, and he says to them, I wish for all of you that you could have what you think you want to realize is not what you want.
Wow.
you know, because he talks about his journey and, you know, making success, celebrity, money, all that.
Yeah.
And he just got to that point. And I feel like it's something that someone has to experience. You're right, because they can hear this, but as long as it's still an idea, because you still, there's a party going, but I want the money, you know, or I want the success or whatever. I don't know, you're on a different plane.
And can I also add that there's a second level in this? Like at first, you know, this is the truth, right? That, you know, money's not going to make you happy. So that's the first level of acknowledgement. Mm-hmm. But then you don't really know. Like,
yes.
there's a voice behind you going, but come on.
We still got
look at that one on social media. Look at that one. Look at that. Look, come on.
Yeah, totally.
Like, come on. You really? Come on. And so you start to listen to that come on voice and go, yeah, let me have another crack at trying to, you know.
You know, that reminds me of the bit where I remember that voice where as I was saying earlier, you know, I stepped away from all the things that I thought knew I was doing out of need, was doing it out of like financial drive, and I wanted to change it up.
Yeah.
So then, you know, I just stopped. Then I found my writing and speaking, mentoring stuff. Really loved it. It wasn't like work, but there was this voice, and I realized, and I remember you speaking out something, you know, I may be doing what I love, but I still needed to do it.
Well, that's the third.
I still needed to do it.
That's the third level.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, I've changed things up. I'm not making it about, you know, like I found what I love, and there was still this. I'm still going to do this to pay the bills. Like I'm doing what I love, and that was a process in getting through that.
Well, that process brought me to a point where I stopped speaking. So exactly what you're talking about there. I was living an amazing lifestyle. You know, we were traveling. I was in a different city every single weekend.
Yeah.
I was single back then, so it made it easy. Anyway, the point is, you know, doing what I really love to do, getting handsomely rewarded or paid for it, if you like, helping people at the same time, traveling the world in the front of the plane and in the back of the car.
Yeah, that's
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what it was. Like you arrived in the country, you get picked up by a car, and it was a nice lifestyle, especially for someone who went through, you know, very humble beginnings to not have anything.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's a point I got to where I realized I'm doing what I love to do, right? And people hear this and go, well, that's what you taught. You just said do what you love to do. So, you know, you're now there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there's another level, right? And I recognize that there was another level because I realized I got to a point where doing what I love to do became a little bit stale. Like the feeling, the essence of what I was doing, when I'm speaking on stage, I loved it, but there was something that started to bother me. And when I started to dig around it, I realized that I've now fallen into the need of doing what I love to do. Because when you do what you love to do, you feel free, right? Like there's no greater freedom. Like if you're being in a state of love, right, and your mindset is a state of infinity, right? There's
no attachment.
It's really that love for no reason.
Yeah,
right?
Totally.
So then when you start to fall in need of doing that, why would you fall in need to do that? Because you're thinking, by me doing this, I get to fly around the world in the front of the plane, the back of the car. I get to live this lifestyle. I get to get paid for it handsomely. And that's not the truth. Now, I'm not going to talk about what the truth really is because you think, well, hang on, if that's not the truth, what is it, right? Well, in a nutshell, I won't go into too much details. Those circumstances have presented themselves because I decided that before. You know what I mean? So you decided to live that way. You decided yourself to put yourself out that way. Then those circumstances or story gets moved for you to be able to experience that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to get into a long
that's
tangent.
deeper stuff.
That's deeper stuff. But that's the point. I got to a point where I realized I need to do this in order to stay happy. I mean, when I'm doing it, I'm happy, but I need to do this.
And I remember what you did.
You remember what did I do?
I remember we were in LA and it was a weekend holiday there for some. It was
It was the Oscars.
Oscars weekend. Anyway, so people had flown in for this event, like from different parts of
San Fran,
all sorts of stuff. And I remember before you were about to go up on stage, you're like, I don't think I'm going to speak.
I said, I don't feel like getting up on stage.
Yeah, so I don't feel like getting up. I think I said to you, well, don't.
No, you went first. Yeah, right.
At first, yeah, right. Then I was like,
going.
and then you told me you were that. I said, well, don't anyway. But then, and I was kind of joking with him still. But then you got up on stage.
But why didn't I feel like to speak? Like that's the point. That's the feeling that I realized there was this staleness.
Yeah.
Or something. Anyway, go on.
So anyway, you got up on stage, you came out, and you were just directly. So there's a couple hundred people there, I think it was still, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a couple hundred.
So it was busy, and literally comes out on the stage. All these people have come to see him on this 2-day event. It was a 2-day event.
The WTF
experience. And you come out and you go, guys, I've got to be really honest with you. I don't feel to do this.
I don't feel to be here.
Yeah, I don't feel to be here. I don't feel to speak. And everyone was silent. And then someone in the crowd, you started asking.
Well, I said to them, look, I'm here to present the WTF experience, but to be honest with you right now, I don't feel to do this, and I don't think I'm going to. I want to go down to Santa Monica Beach and just sit there. And everyone's like, people were like, yeah, this is part of this.
Marketing. I remember
they thought it wasn't marketing. They just thought this is part of the program. You're trying to get us to process something, or you're trying to get us to...
yeah.
And I was just like, no, I'm really serious, right? And I'm open to talk to you guys about this. And unless through what we talk about, through what we open up and discuss, if I, at the end of that, don't feel like speaking, then I'm going to get off stage and go home. And that's when people started going, I just flew here from San Francisco to here. Are you serious? I'm like, yeah, I'm serious. Do you want me to pretend to be here? Like, I'm being honest. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
And there was some.
There's one guy.
One guy changed everything. But the point is that then started off a domino effect. And
we came back straight away.
I came back to Australia and I sat down with my team and I said, guys, I'm not going to be speaking anymore. We're gonna wrap it up.
So hang on, let me like envision this. He's come down and the business is based on. So I was one of the mentors of about another 6 or so 7 people there.
Yeah.
That were mentoring. So and how the business worked is we would have events and we would speak and we would follow up with all the clients, meet with them and support them on their journey, right? So when Amir walks into the office and goes to everyone, so I don't feel to speak anymore, they were like, what? Like, that's everything. That's how this business works. So it literally within a week or two.
Well, I didn't just finish. I stopped doing all new events.
Yeah.
And it took like another 9 or 12 months to complete my commitments that I had committed to, like people.
Oh yeah, no, sorry, the programs you had. Yeah.
The pre-sold programs, I still committed to those guys, and we wrapped it all up.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. My process around that. And this is where, before I was talking about this.
Yes.
And I didn't want to go too deep.
Yeah.
Because you think, my process around that was, I had a thought of, well, hang on, if I stop speaking, how am I going to make money? How am I going to live this great lifestyle? And what is it that I'm going to do that I love to do? I mean, this is all I know that I love to do, right? But there was still a feeling, a feeling that gave me a sense of certainty, despite that, to stop speaking. Now, I don't want to go too deep because to me, I can tell you this. I believe that things change form. Nothing stays the same. Nothing's forever. So if this lifestyle that I had and doing what I loved to do is an experience I had, it's because I deserve it. And when I didn't have that in my life, yes, it's because I didn't deserve it, right? So if I deserve that and I stop doing that, then the next thing that I do, it just changes form. Energy moves for me to reestablish, right? There's another financial stream of income. There's another, there's another thing that I love to do.
So can I ask you something though? What do you mean you deserve it? Like you're a good person, or because you worked hard, or what do you mean you deserve it?
I'm just bringing you back into the shot. love is, you know, whether it's the love of who you are, you know, the love of what you do, you know, so the love of who you're being is a sense of deservingness, right? So when you feel undeserving of love, whether it's love of someone or love of what you do, when you feel undeserving, you're always chasing love in what you do, right? So
Hang on, that's really important.
well,
you
let's
said.
just relate that to a relationship, right?
Yes, yeah.
In a relationship, if you're always the guy chasing the girl, like, oh, honey, let me do it. Like, I used to be like that. Right? I used to be the guy just like, you know, and I'd just be like super, super nice guy. Not that I'm not a nice guy now, but I'd be just like, whatever you want, honey, anything. I love you. Like, whatever you want, baby. Like, I'm here for you. Just tell me, just let me, do you want me to walk? Do you want me to lie down on the floor? You can walk on my back. Like, do you know what I mean? That's the kind of guy I was. And I got continuously hurt. I got my heart smashed into pieces, right? So when you don't have the love, you pursue it. And it becomes like a slippery soap. Like when you're in the shower and the wet soap is wet, you squeeze the soap, it just runs away. So just like the relationships in my life, they would just run away. Just like doing the things that I love to do, it would just, the opportunities would never land. And opportunities will always land to someone else. Someone else got the job. Someone else got the opportunity. Someone else did the business before I did. And I'm just sitting there watching it. I'm just like, why isn't it happening for me? Right? Because I'm pursuing the love in what I do. I'm pursuing to receive the love from other people. Now, that is an undeservingness of love. All right. So when you have love for yourself, right, the love, you bring that love into what you do. So it's not like you now have an expectations from what you do to give me this. You don't have an expectation in the relationship, hey, you better love me this way. Because I mean, I've been doing all this for you. Can you give me something back? Because you don't have that, right? Because to me, real love is a giving, a sharing, an expression process. It's not like, what can I attain from this? So when you feel undeserving of love, again, I'm not just talking about relationships. Love is in who you're being. It's in your state of being. When you feel undeserving, you pursue it in what you do. You pursue it from others. You become like a beggar in the street. And you will manipulate, you will persuade, you will grind, you will push. You will slave to ensure. And that love could be a sense of security. You were talking about security before. Like, what is it that you feel when you have love? You feel safe. So that's why we look for security. But if we feel unsafe, we feel unloved.
Yeah.
So
can I ask you a question before
of
you continue
course,
then? Because I know what people are thinking. I always think about the people listening to this. So they're probably thinking, so all I got to do is love myself more.
Well, here's the thing, right? And that's a good place to start. You know, you could sit there, look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that you love yourself. And that's a good place to start. But the thing is, what I've just described to you right there is not the pursuit of love. It's the real love. The pursuit of love comes from a place within you that doesn't feel loved. That's why you pursue it. Right? Whether, again, I'll remind you, whether it's in a love in a relationship, a love in what you do, a love in, you know, who you're being. Right? But the real love that I'm talking about and everything that we're talking about, which is infinite, right? It's an infinite state of mind.
And is that something you access?
That real love, right? If you can have that and if you can find that within yourself, and make no mistake, everything that I do, all my work is getting people to realize who they really are. When you access that, and the thing is, you already have it, you just have switched it off. Why have you switched it off? Because your attention is outside and going, what can I get from the outside, right? So when you have that, when you've realized that real love, it just changes your entire game.
Completely.
So the point is this: you wouldn't sit in front of the mirror and go, "I love you," to convince yourself that you love yourself. You're not going to go sit in front of the mirror and go, I love myself just the way I am. And again, please just don't disregard that because that is a powerful process for someone who's feeling unloved. But what I'm saying to you is when you tap into your real love, right? The real you, the big you, the expanded you, I don't know what you want to call it, the infinite you, just the energy you, right? Why would love need to love itself?
You know, guys,
can we just get that?
Yeah. That's why I asked the question.
Why would love need to love itself? So when people go, well, you need to love yourself, right? The part of you that needs to love yourself is the part of you that hasn't recognized who it really is.
Yeah. Beautiful. I hope you're listening to that because that's spot on. But yeah, I suppose, we're talking about love, what's real, moving from that space and how that's reflected when you really know yourself. I'm glad you determined the difference between, someone telling themselves, I love myself, to the real love. I suppose you can't, that's again something you got to feel and experience. That's where I was going to go. You got to feel and experience. And I feel like one of the most best places someone can relate to what you just shared, where it's the real, is those moments where you're walking along the beach, you're in nature somewhere, and you have that moment, and all of a sudden you're not thinking, and there's this sense of like peace, this sense of what people call in that moment love, but it's for no reason.
That's right.
In that moment, it's a great reference point, but we're not meant to, I didn't believe I was meant to have just moments like that. To me, that's something that, was one of the big things that started my journey, even as a young kid. I was like, this has to be real. Like, this doesn't just have to be a moment, because in that moment, I'm not needing anything. I'm not thinking or worrying about anything. You can feel, there's almost like an expression of something.
Let's just highlight that point, because that's the greatest point. Because when I'm talking about the real love, some people are like, well, hang on, what's the real? The real love doesn't have reasons.
Yeah.
It's not, I love this because it gives me this.
Yeah.
I love this because it makes me feel. It's the real love is, I love this and I want to give more to this.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
I love this and I want to express myself in this, whatever it is that you're doing or in a relationship. And it's not looking, but what am I going to get back?
You know what?
That's the reason. What am I going to get back is the reason.
Beautiful. And I would love to leave something with anyone watching today or who watches this. A little thing you can go do in your life. Go and ponder on or go connect with something that you know that you do for no reason that you enjoy. And then go see how you feel. Notice your mind, and then go and relate that to everything else in your life. It's a great little practice.
Yeah.
I love that. Very great practice to do.
And look, from what we're talking about, it goes far deeper. To be able to
totally
to be able to live that, and that's what started my journey. I was like, I can feel this. I can, I'm sensing this. I found this great power within myself. But how do I live that in my everyday life as a business owner, as a father, as a husband, as a pilot, as a boss?
Yeah.
How do I live that, right? And that's the key, because for me, what started my journey is like, I know this, but I want to live it. And if I can't live it, like, what did I come here for? To get moments of that, like when I was meditating, or this moment where I just like it feels like you come here for the universe to foreplay with you. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, but you're never going to get the full.
Yeah, just teasing you.
It's just a tease. It's just like, but it's a universe. Maybe foreplay is not the right word. It's flirting with you, but you're never going to get that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That's what happened with me. Like when I was a kid, and remember I told you I was chasing women, right? That I was chasing because I felt unloved. They would always flirt with me, and I was like, "Oh, I'm in. Like we're gonna have a relationship." I'll get excited, but they were always, "Yeah, but we're good friends. Like you're my best friend." And I was just like, "Oh." Do you know? That was my experience, because I felt unloved, and why I became put into the best friend quadrant or department category is because they were like, they feel it. They feel like I need the love from them.
Yes.
Right. And back then I didn't. I did need that.
Yeah.
Right. So
A very good example. This is like life, you know.
It is.
We continue to do that and think, well, that's life, you know. Yeah, I think that's about it for today. There's a lot in that. You might want to go back and watch that for the guys that were live, because I heard you clarify things very clearly in ways that I hadn't heard you clarify them before.
I heard myself clarify things and share things I've never shared before.
Yes, you did. So
you know that's true.
I did.
Right?
I heard you say things in a very
the whole
tangible manner.
We accept the love we think we deserve.
Yes.
You know, which is from a movie called The Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Perks of Being a Wallflower, yeah.
By the way, which I've just shared on my Instagram story today.
That quote is by Stephen Chbosky. I've got it over there on the floor.
There you go. Stephen Chbosky.
Chbosky
says in his book, The Perks of Being a Wallflower, he says, we accept the love we think we deserve. Go to my Instagram story today and have a look at it. And it's from that movie.
It's on your Instagram already.
Well, Cora shared it. And
I didn't know that.
And said, this is what you've been teaching us. And then I reshared it on my Instagram story.
Cool.
And it's a scene from that movie, and the guy's talking to his teacher, and then the teacher goes, we accept the love we think we deserve. And but that's what that is about. You know, love is a deservingness.
Mate, you need to go back and listen to what Amir just said about explaining what true, real deserving is. Like, that was really well put.
Yeah, and I've never said it that way.
Yeah.
But I was trying to present it in a way where, you know, it's not, so you're not just going, so I don't deserve it. You're telling me I don't deserve it? No. The only person that thinks you don't deserve it is you.
Yes.
And if you're having a reaction to that, it's because you think you don't deserve it.
Correct.
So let's just calm down, all right, and just look at what you know. I mean, everything that my whole WTF experience is completely dedicated for you to find the real love within yourself.
Yeah.
Right? And by the way, nothing I share is religious based. It's not a philosophical thing.
It's not a concept,
mate. This is just. I just wanted to live this. Like, I don't make it into something that it's not. It's just energy. It's just energy, you know?
guys. Yeah, I think that's it. You nailed it today. I just want to wrap it up there because it was so juicy. I don't want to drag it out now.
You nailed it too, Jamie. It was good.
That was good.